Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, especially His Excellency Ho Jung Heng, Undersecretary of State from MISTI, and also our president from other alumni. Also my pleasure to be here. My name is Lidat. I've been, we're working for about 7 years involved with ICT innovations and also used to work for the government, including the Ministry of Finance, some initiative focused on digital economy and e-commerce. And I myself kind of curious a lot, so that's why I'm trying to see how entrepreneurship can help guide me the way to make impacts. So today I'm sharing with you some of the experience and reading that I've been through, and also the practice that I have been running the company as well. The company that focuses on technology education and business innovation for young generation and also the SME in Cambodia. I think His Excellency Ho Jung Heng mentioned a bit about what Cambodia has been doing so far and how the government trying so hard to bring this and then move the nation forward. At the same time, Mongkul, give an interesting demo and hopefully you guys try out his products. I just told him that maybe during the panel he can share more about how everyone can join. But the thing here that I would like to share with you is about a bit on the AI that people's been saying, what is it really about, and then what other countries have been doing, and then where are we now in terms of AI evolutions, and particularly how we as the individual can try out AI in our daily life. So if you look at this, demystifying AI. So when we talk about AI, there are two AI in different classes. One is called the artificial neural intelligence. The other one is the artificial general intelligence. So whatever that Mr. Mongkul has shown is in the classification of ANI, artificial neural intelligence, that particularly focus on text generation, speech recognition, particular tasks that human program them to do. But for the artificial general intelligence, that's where people talk about humanoids, technology can do everything that people can do. And these two, the ANI have been evolving a lot, while AGI is still, very at the nascent stage. Because eventually, we need a lot of ANI to put together and then to speed up the AGI. But in general, we can call AI, right? Because we are all not from computer science background. The AI itself is also coming from a lot of, classification from here. Not sure, yeah. So here we are talking, whatever we are using. I have seen some trainer on social media trying to, show off what they are using on AI. But be careful with that, especially on the answer and the response from the AI itself, because we are just a small part of the artificial intelligence. I'm not going deep, but in short, this message here, whatever response that you got is based on the data that they collect, or the data that the big company have been training. What are the big company? Microsoft, right? Google, OpenAI, and many other coming on the way. And so imagine, right, all the information, there are some good news, some bad news, there are some fake news, are all together. So we cannot rely fully on AI or whatever they answer us. Just imagine that, there are several bad news in the past, but last week or something, but you imagine that bad news people created. So what if those bad news have been programmed by AI? I believe we will be all chaotic to respond to those fake news. So we need to be, take into account a lot of things, while we are also trying to leverage it for our own growth and country development. On this side, just a quick glance to show you that the industry revolution has been going so far now, and the latest technology that creating the value is AI, that using cloud and data, and mainly ANI that we have been using. So this is to show the evolution of the user adapter over time. So mainly the 80% of the population around the world gonna be around here. So the first from the left-hand side are the early adapter, meaning that like young people like us, right, like to try something new, TikTok, Instagram, any other thing. But we don't know, and we're also not aware of what are the pros and cons out of it. But we need this kind of people. And then if you look at ANI or AI, we are at this stage at the moment still, right? Even those There are some movie have frustrated people. Terminator, right? If you have also what Matrix, right? Matrix is about the technology, the good technology and the bad technology trying to catch up with each other. So those kind of movie can happen if AI are in the bad hand people. It's just like atomic nuclear, right? I think His Excellency Sukhputu would also mention about the need of creating a similar IEE that focus on AI, because eventually, I mean, all the product and the thing that we create can have two edge, right? The good edge and the bad edge. So the exploration of nuclear or atomic is similar thing of the Albert Einstein that have trying to explore Higgs velocity and the equation of general relativity. And so if AI can do a lot of things and we not really cautious about what it can be done, so at some point there can be a big consequences for people in general. And so there is a word saying that, human can create a lot of things, but one thing that we can hardly change or can hardly control is the man behavior, right? So we don't know what the man gonna do with it. So that's why we need to be cautious over time. But at the same time, ChatGPT is just one thing of many AI tools has been using around the world, including Midjourney, right? People that try to create photo or using Photoshop for editing and stuff. The slide will be shared after this. And this is to show you a bit on the layer of application that can be used, like what Mr. Mongkul mentioned on the text generation and stuff. But at the same time, on the technical applications, right? There are large language model, there are fine tuning, many other things at the back end. But in general, it's still the data that's feeding the AI. AI without data is nothing. It's just like a weapon, a gun without a bullet. So in short, it can be said that AI can now do this kind of seven things for the ANI particularly, right? So they can automate, they can detect, right? Interpret, predict, interact, create, and simulate. So if your work involved with this kind of thing, or you think this kind of term can help your work to be more productive, then reconsider what skill that you need to learn in order to upskill yourself. Because eventually it's not AI that replacing the people, it's the people that using AI that will replace you. And Mr. Mongkul already mentions that now he can clone a lot of himself to do a lot of things. So there is a belief that in the near future, there will be a company that was billion US dollar, while the staff is only about less than 5 people, or even 1% create a company that was billion US dollar, right? Even now, I myself been using ChatGPT for the pro account, cost me $20 US per month, and I hire a, bachelor graduate from university. The quality of the work, the information that they can search, relatively low comparing to the ChatGPT. This made me a bit, frustrated in a way, because you can imagine like how many people on the road studying in the class now, not aware of the potential of their knowledge will be replaced because of they are not creative enough. They don't know how to use AI to optimize their productivity and result. So all this kind of thing is a concern, right? Government talk about skilled labor and stuff, but the knowledge industry is also important at the same time, because we know that one person can do a lot of things. One of the case study from Harvard Business School, one of the top university, it has been shown that they have been trying the 12 cases of the consultants, and in general, when they use AI, it relatively improved their productivity. At the moment, it's about 25%, meaning that 1/4. And so AI now have to improve 25%, but in the future, it will be more. So get ready, guys. Especially those who definitely graduate or going to study at the university, don't expect the certificate gonna become a ticket lunch for you to find a job. So need to keep self-learning and then see how you can evolve over time. And we also may not aware that, some people may say, no, I don't trust AI. But when you go on the road, you use Google Maps. Okay, to know which road that you can go faster to avoid traffic jam. And then applications like Netflix have been using a lot of our information to recommend us the what they call the movie, right? So the cinema industry now is also a bit, striving hard, including the Hollywood one. There are some actors demonstrate on the road because of their new creation of AI to clone the actor and stuff. But all in all, we are all living with the AI daily. It's like there is someone watching us all the time, every second, as long as we are on phone. So also this is one. When we use it, we train AI. So it's important to be aware of that too. That's why the data protection and personal data protection is come to play, need to be in place. And interestingly, in South Asia, the population that adopt generative AI is about 80%. So meaning that a lot of people like to learn new things, but at the same time, they are also exposed to losing off their personal data as well. But the good thing is that to me, I'm optimistic about AI, right? Don't get me wrong. Even though there are some concern, but the thing is that how we can make the best use of it, especially for their learning, for their exploration, research, right, creativity and stuff. So we can see South Asia, and then there are countries like China, but yeah, still South Asia is interestingly is number 2. And then there are some practical use in AI for business in general. So Wong Mongkol already mentioned all the web search and everything. But in the short run, you can see AI can help to optimize the productivity and result in education industry, professional services, ICT, and finance. Right? Finance, they have been doing a lot of things with AI, including the anti-fraud, and also detecting the spam and everything. But at the same time, the government, in the long run, the healthcare one. So healthcare, I also strongly believe that in a bit like 5 or 10 years term, the cost of drugs will be lower, and there can be a way that we can also make the healthcare service affordable and accessible almost everywhere. So at the same time, the government services, we can do integration services together, see how we can work it out. But there are some SME maybe down here, focus on utility, wholesale, e-commerce that he mentions, accommodation and stuff. So these are important for us to be aware of where industry is moving, because we are now living in the transition time. My bad for the minute at the back, I cannot see clearly, so I'm trying to wrap up. This one is for some practical use. So you can see, country like Seoul, they use it for the waste management. And then Philippines, they use the AI power for weather forecasting. And then for Jakarta, they use it like a one-stop digital platform. Many things can be done with AI in a good way. But the thing is that we also need to be aware again, the AI skill job demand, right? Like I mentioned, you don't need to be studying computer science for 4 years. Go to specialized course, the one that with a credible mentor or trainer that specialize in AI or kind of prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is a word that similar to code plug and play that we explore around without requiring the computer science background. But the moment that you know how to do this, you can do a lot of stuff, increase the revenue and income. And so here you can see we know a lot of AI with the opportunity, but the AI talent is not there yet. So we still need to increase the AI talent. There's also one interesting case that I'd like to highlight. In the past, that you need to study 2 years in order to create a video game applications. Now it only takes you 2 weeks. Totally different. And you can only, if you want to explore more, you can talk to me later and how we can help you out on this side as well. This is a bit impact on the economy. So this is for the US case study. You can see that a lot of jobs, especially the routine work in the office, administrations, legal services, have been using AI already. Fast-growing work, right? You can see on the left-hand side the jobs that are on demand now to 5 to 10 years from now, and then the declining job, meaning that they start laying off. Even in the US, the software engineer also have been laying off. Not software engineer, but those who are in the low-code level. We have talked with the president of Japan Alumni Cambodia as well, and I have a friend that working in the US. So thousands of technologies have been laying off if you are in the low class, because the low class technologies tend to be able to be replaced by the AI already, unless you are the software engineer or the top talent in the technology. So, but if you ask me whether we should learn code, yes, of course, because it's a kind of problem-solving skill for you to think how you can use technology to address something. And then this is a bit overall for generative AI, how it reshape the future from work to idea to foundation. But the thing is, the humans need to have three things. One is on ethical, the other is on safety, and the lastly is compliance. So if not these three, people can use it in a bad way, right? You can see all the like scam on Telegram, a lot of things nonsense coming up. So we are living, to me, in a society, it going like this every day. I mean, no longer like the digital world is not useful anymore because it's full of trust. This is some of the government initiative on the way. Look at the US and the Japan, they are having the guidance and stuff, but not really regulate yet because they also want to see how far it can go, how it also have to lift up the people and livelihood of the population in general. And the core thing can be set in five. One is on accountability for the businesses, and also the fairness of the using it, security, which together become a transparency and privacy topic and issue practice. So long story short, I can say that these are my 9 tips for each individual to consider when you go back home. You can explore ChatGPT, it's free. You can explore Gemini or Copilot that he tried. So whenever you use it, like be specific of what you want to target, not asking like, okay, I want to get rich by 2 years, right? Become a billionaire. Come on. AI not going to work for you, you work for yourself, right? They can respond to a lot of things, but cannot be done with human capability. So be specific of your goal, provide context, like where you are living, right? They may tentatively bias with the US because mainly it created in the US. And then, I mean, created by many other countries, but US, they invest a lot of money on it. And then the breakthrough, break down the thing, making it the context, and then keep training over time, and be creative as well. So the moment that you explore trial and error, then you will know where is it and then how you can make it useful for you. But if you buy a pro account, the information I think it's related to it's gonna be late update. In the free one, it's about I think information by 2023. But it doesn't free of buying pro. It's about whether how much you can know how you can use it for your own benefit. And then what is that for our, stakeholder in general, like public, private sector, and civil society? Mainly is to, besides educating ourselves, we need to work together, like what Excellency Ho Sing Heng and then Excellency Sok Puttivutt mentions, from private to public, and then see how we can, provide a ethical guidance, regulate, and adapt in general, and at the same time, how we can also implement it at scale for a robust standard way, because when the business have the personalized way and goal, but when we talk about ethical and kind of privacy, it should be a standard thing. And then at the same time, we also see how we can prioritize the transparency in data protections and algorithm integrity, because we know a lot of companies collect our data, but how they make it use of it, whether they sell it or not, there's also a question. And we have been, to me myself, I've been working with one of the organizations called the MyData.org based in Europe. So we are trying to implement in our organizations at TechForKids Academy, and then see how we can help them make protect the data of the kids. And at the same time, we will need to keep adjust and then flexible of the regulation and policy, because AI and technology evolve over time, so we cannot make it like a one standard fit all and a fit for the last 10 or 20 years. It comes to the end of the presentation. Thank you so much.